Hi and welcome, my name is Lawrence Baker and this video is going to be about creating a realistic rainy scene inside of Photoshop. I'm going to use two things, give the impression of rain falling down and the surface of the road and pavement being wet or sidewalk. Right, let's duplicate the background layer because that's just good practice. Command and Control J. We need to cut out the building or select the building. The best tool in my opinion is the polygonal lasso tool here. Using that, select the building, click, and everywhere you click you can change direction after you clicked. I'm pretty straightforward really, I'm just telling you that to keep the conversation going. You do not have to be fussy. In fact, I'm not bothering with zooming in or anything. I'm just making sure that I'm not leaving a fringing on the building. Right, come down to there, maybe there. I'm cutting in slightly, not too much. Probably cut inside the door here a little bit. I really don't want any of the pavement showing because it ruins the selection slightly, because there's a great change in hue between the grey pavement and the brown of the building. So I'm not going to go inside that door, you don't need to. Click there, up the top, click anywhere outside the canvas, it doesn't make the slightest bit of difference. We have our selection when you click down, when you see the double circle. Now we need to put this onto a separate layer. Command or Control J will put it onto a separate layer. Now I need to flip it vertically. Edit, transform, flip vertical. Now I'm going to use the free transform tool, Command or Control T on your keyboard, or edit free transform, which is down here. I'm going to move it down until I see it line up on the right hand side. Roughly. That's about right. Command and Control 0 to fit on screen, which will allow you to see the bounding box. Command or Control key pressed. Bring it up like this, because keeping the Command or Control key pressed allows you to distort or shear the image like this. That looks roughly okay. Command plus or equals to zoom in a little bit more. If you can't see anything, press the space bar, you activate the hand tool, you can move around until you see it. Command or Control key kept pressed again. I'm just checking that everything's joining up. I'm still seeing a bit of that pavement there and I don't want to see that pavement. So that will do. It does not have to be perfect. You can press the tick symbol here or press return. I'm pressing return. Right. The first thing to do is lower the opacity. I'm on a selection tool. If you're on a selection tool or the move tool, pressing a number on your keyboard like 5 will make the selected layer go down to opacity of 50%. You can type it in if you want. 50 works for me in this scenario. You might have to put it lower. Now, it still needs a bit of work. So come to image mode and check you've got 8 bits per channel ticked. If you're not on it, click it because you cannot do this on a 16 or 32-bit image. Filter, distort, ocean ripple. Now you can see what it's going to do. I don't have it too high. I'm on 7 for size and 4 for magnitude. That will be okay for me. I might bring the ripple size up a little bit more. Okay. Quite processor intensive. So it's looking a bit better, but the problem is the sidewalk or pavement does not look right. Add a layer mask, click here. Back to the polygonal lasso tool, select the pavement quite roughly, and don't be too fussy here, and just select the edge there. You can go outside of the canvas. I think I've got it mostly selected. Come up to here, back up to there. When you see the double circle, click down, then go to Image, Adjustments, Curves. I'm going to try and fit on screen as well, Command and Control 0. I'm just going to drag this down because it will put a bit of grey inside that selected area so I can get rid, make it less or more transparent. Right, or less opaque, I was going to say. That doesn't look too bad about there. I might bring up a tiny bit more. That'll do. Okay, whilst I'm here, you wouldn't see any water reflection on the edge of that curb. Black for your colour, B for the brush, normal brush tool here. 100 opacity, 100 flow. Click down once, go to the other side, holding the Shift T, click again, that would get rid of most of it. Command or Control D to lose that selection. The next thing I'm going to do is put ripples into the surface of the water. So come off the layer mask, that's really important. Click on the layer thumbnail for the pixel image. Then go to elliptical marquee tool. Don't make them too wide, make them more narrow. Go to filter, distort, zigzag, choose pond ripples. You can see what you're going to get. Quite high numbers I'm using. If I bring it down, it doesn't really do a lot, so I'm going to make it quite intense. Okay. I'm going to put them all over the place, and I'm just going to go filter and repeat it here. There's a keyboard shortcut, but I can't be bothered to use it. So filter, zigzag. Some big ones here. Outside of the canvas, it doesn't really matter. Filter, zigzag. And maybe some on the pavement here. Quite large, I know. I mean, if I had the time, I'll go and do a lot smaller ones. Filter, zigzag. Right. Command or Control D to lose a selection. We need to create some rain. New layer. Command or Control Shift N. Call it rain. Press return. Come to edit. Fill to fill with 50% grey. I could change the blend mode here, but I'm not going to. Just fill it with 50% grey. Go to the layer blend mode. Select hard light. Any of the contrast modes from overlay down to hard mix make 50% grey transparent. So to create the impression of rain, we need to come to filter, noise, add noise, and make sure it's on Gaussian and monochromatic. I don't have it too high. Personally, I like it around 100, 80, 90, around there. Experiment, but I think around 100 works for most of us. It also depends on the image size, of course. Okay, now we go to filter, blur, motion blur. Now we can see the rain starting straight away. I'm using an angle of 77 because I think, although rain does come down vertically a lot of the time, I think adding a bit of an angle does help it. Maybe, as I say, around 70, minus 70 works for me. Distance, don't go too high because you'll end up losing it. So I'm really quite low. I might bring it up a little bit more. Around 45 is working for me. Okay. Right. The next thing to do is add a little bit of mist. This is not absolutely necessary, but new layer, Command or Control Shift N. Call it mist. And what I'm going to do is go to filter, render, and then clouds to fill the layer with clouds. Then I change the blend mode of the layer to screen, which will make the dark bits transparent. Obviously, opacity will now kick in. One on my keyboard to make it 10. Now, if I didn't like it on the pavement, this misty effect, I could put a layer mask on. With the lasso tool, the polygonal lasso tool, select that area yet again, come across roughly, go outside the canvas, do not worry too much. And then if I wanted to, I could even fill it with black. I wanted to. I would probably use that image adjustments, curves again, and bring it right down. You've got a little bit more control. So yeah, I've basically put black in there anyway. So Command or Control D to lose that. That last bit is not absolutely 100% necessary. Command or Control 0 to fit on screen. What have we come from? Let's group these together. Top layer, shift click on layer 1, Command or Control G. We've come from this to this quite quickly. What I would say is I should have made that image a bit darker in Adobe Camera Raw, but I didn't. But it still works. If you're using more complex scenes where you've got two sides to the road, obviously, you're looking down the road, you have to cut each side out individually. So select each side, flip it, etc., create new layers. So that's the way to do it like that. It's very straightforward. I think it works quite well. It's not going to fool everyone, but it's a good way of playing around with the tools as well. That's it, guys. Thanks very much.